It took about 22 years to continue the story of the original Jurassic Park trilogy, even though the new Jurassic World franchise doesn't really link up with the storylines of the movies that followed the first Jurassic Park film. But this time around, we're getting a follow-up to the Jurassic World trilogy in just 5 years. And that opens up the chance for many interesting references from the trilogy to pop up in the movie. Let's do a quick recap of the events of the Jurassic World franchise so far so that we can prepare ourselves for Jurassic World Rebirth. Keep a note of characters you think might appear in the new entry, and yeah, we're looking at you, Dr. Wu. Before we get too far into things, we do have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to the channel. It's a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Return to Isla Nublar, Jurassic World 2015. This film is set 22 years after the events of the failed attempts at playing God by industrialist John Hammond and the creation of the original Jurassic Park. This theme park managed to bring the dinosaurs back, and we're back to Isla Nublar once again, as the theme park has been brought back with the title Jurassic World. You'd think they would have learned from their previous mistakes, but it seems they've gone so far as to bring in a new genetically modified hybrid dinosaur named Indominus Rex to increase the park's profits. Yeah, things will be much more brutal this time around because even the T-Rex has got a whole new enemy. Claire Deering, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, works under Simon Masrani, the park owner, who is very much impressed with the Indominus Rex and its advanced features and the fact that it cannibalized its sibling. But Masrani does have a concern that should have been dealt with a long time back, and that's regarding the security of the paddock where the I-Rex has been kept, since they don't want any chance of the creature getting outside, especially because it also has camouflage. Masrani asks for Owen Grady, the post-Guardians of the Galaxy Chris Pratt, to be picked for this particular task so that any possible vulnerabilities could be looked into. Now, Owen is an ex-Navy member who's been working in the park for a while, particularly studying the behaviors of the velociraptors. He's managed to train them to follow his orders, a whole new dimension in the franchise that hadn't been explored before. But looking at all this from the sidelines is Vic Hoskins, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, the leader of InGen's security division, who's been thinking about the potential these animals have if they're weaponized for military applications. This is an important detail, as this element becomes the underlying theme of this new trilogy. By the way, InGen is the same company behind the making of the first Jurassic Park, and back then, Dr. John Hammond was the CEO and founder, along with Benjamin Lockwood. And BD Wong's Dr. Henry Wu is back in the game again and doing the genetic work to create these creatures. Interestingly, the character was supposed to die in the first film, but he actually ended up being one of the seeds of the whole new trilogy. Now, even though it feels as if Owen has been able to dominate them somehow, there are some loopholes, specifically that they only listen to Owen and nobody else. Anyways, the Indominus Rex gets out of its enclosure by climbing over the wall of the paddock. As Owen and the others go to check inside the enclosure, they're informed that the dinosaur is still inside, and it attacks them and breaks through the gate. Yeah, this one's pretty smart. So the Indominus Rex is now loose in the park, and it's not just here for chilling around. This dinosaur will go with the iconic idea of snacking around the park with hundreds of tourists. While all of this is happening, Claire's nephews also came for a visit, and these guys happen to have gone farther than the space they were given and happened upon the I-Rex. After a near-death experience, Owen and Claire come to their rescue, and it turns out that things are getting worse. Masrani is killed by the I-Rex, and Vic Hoskins takes the opportunity to take over the park, and he decides to use the raptors that only Owen could control to take down the I-Rex. Initially, it feels like the plan would work as the raptors lead them to the new diva in the park, but upon reaching their destination, it turns out that the I-Rex communicates with them and manages to change their orders. Why? Because the I-Rex was made with velociraptor DNA. Things go haywire, and the raptors unleash their wrath on everyone around them, even Claire and her nephews, and Owen, who's forced to nab their attention to save someone. As they somehow manage to get back to the lab, it turned out that Hoskins had been a key person in manipulating the creation of Indominus to a fraction of its size to further work on his plans for using it as a military weapon. But before he could continue, one of the raptors appeared and attacked him. As they continue their escape, Owen manages to take back control of the raptors and uses them to attack the I-Rex, but nothing helps. So they finally decide to go for a much more gruesome plan. It actually works too, as Claire brings the big guns out for the fight by releasing the T-Rex from the original trilogy out of its paddock. The T-Rex battles it out with the Abomination, only to push it to the Mosasaurus Lagoon and the Mosasaurus, which will appear in the franchise's future, ends up taking the hybrid as a treat offered by the T-Rex. The survivors are rescued while the T-Rex takes over Jurassic Park once more, claiming the island is hers after defeating the Indominus Rex. Weapons of Self-Destruction, Fallen Kingdom, 2018. Like the other movies in this franchise, humans always find a reason to revisit the park. 6 months after the events at the newly made Jurassic World theme park, it turns out that a team of mercenaries has been sent over to Isla Nublar to retrieve the Indominus Rex's bones from the Jurassic World lagoon so that they could work on Hoskins' plans. The people in this mission had somehow completely forgotten about the threat that was present in the lagoon as the Mosasaurus attacked them. Meanwhile, the group on the land is attacked by the T-Rex that had recently reclaimed the island. After a near-death experience with the dinosaurs, Claire has opened up an organization called the Dinosaur Protection Group, an initiative for protecting the dinosaurs. Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum's character from the original trilogy, claims that the dinosaurs are a danger to the natural order of the world, and when it turns out that Isla Nublar has an active volcano, a plan to rescue the creatures by Claire and her team is rejected. Instead, John Hammond's partner in the Jurassic Park business, Benjamin Lockwood, agrees to fund Claire's rescue mission to save the dinosaurs. They also make Owen Grady a part of the team so that one of his beloved velociraptors could be rescued. So yeah, the Lockwood guy did have an ulterior motive behind all this, and it turns out that his granddaughter Maisie is a human clone and had been created using the same tech that had managed to bring back the dinosaurs. No rich guy decides to help you without any reason. Movie rules have always made that quite clear. Owen and Claire focus on their objective and reach Isla Nublar to find and save the dinosaurs. But it turns out that the dinosaurs still don't like people, and they attack their team only for absolute havoc to ensue, during which the volcano erupts. Owen and Claire manage to show some badassery and survive the wrath of the attack, along with lava flowing through the entire island. During their escape from the island again, they reached the Arcadia. This ship was capturing several of the dinosaurs and caging them. They had also managed to capture Owen's velociraptor friend Blue. Somehow, they managed to get on the ship while the island burns down behind them. Lockwood's assistant hears about the absolutely chaotic events of the mission and decides to organize a buyer for the dinosaurs to sell them in a Jurassic auction. It's revealed that there's been quite a bit of progress in Hoskins' original plan, as the lab has been working on the Indoraptor, and it turns out that Lockwood isn't aware of most of it. Back on the ship, Claire and the others realize that Blue is severely injured, and the only way to save him is by taking blood from the T-Rex, so the team goes to get the blood and almost gets chopped in half, but they do manage to secure the blood and save Blue. As the team is preparing for their auction and selling the creatures, it turns out that Lockwood is genuinely unaware of the things that have been happening behind his back, and he confronts Mills, his assistant, about the auction. Mills smothers the man with a pillow and kills him. Yeah, there's a murder in the manor. So Owen and his team are caught, and they realize that Claire and Owen might reveal the plans to the authorities, so they're put in another cage along with the dinosaurs. Maisie, who's been observing things going wrong in the manor, manages to sneak away from the others because she could be the next witness they kill. Owen uses his Jurassic knowledge to trick the Stygimoloch into breaking the wall of their penitentiary and thus manages to break open the cell door. They come across Maisie and they both identify with each other. Turns out, Maisie has been watching Owen's dinosaur skills on Wu's computer. The auctions take place as planned, and we get to see the Indoraptor, which has been designed with some interesting specifications that could help control it because it can lock on to a specific target through a laser and an acoustic signal from a gun. Turns out, the Indoraptor is still a work in progress and not for sale, but a massive bid lands from the people at the auction, and Mills decides to give in to the money. Turns out, unlike the other raptors, this guy cannot empathize, and neither can it follow a very specific order, and once it's sold, the client will definitely clone its genome. Owen uses the Stygimoloch to disrupt the auction and prevent Mills from taking the Indoraptor away. Now, there's a lot of really good reasons for the Indoraptor to remain in its cage, but a very stupid guard realizes he wants the Indoraptor's teeth for his collection, so he sedates the creature in order to take its teeth, but he gets outsmarted. The creature was never fully sedated, it kills the guard, and escapes. As Owen and Claire try to stop Mills, he reveals that Maisie is the clone of Lockwood's daughter, a project he had funded himself. This entire thing is a random subplot that kinda goes nowhere. Blue is released by Claire's team somewhere else in the manor because they know that they had protected him. The Indoraptor goes into hunting mode and begins to track down Claire, Owen, and Maisie, and you know that an interesting face-off is happening very soon. So, while Owen tries to save Maisie from the Indoraptor, Blue jumps in, starts fighting off the Indoraptor, and somehow even manages to kill the newly created monster. As the rest try to escape, Owen and the others realize that there's a chance that hydrogen cyanide might fill the room where the other dinosaurs had been held captive, But before they can take action, Maisie releases all of them. She empathizes with the dinosaurs because she too is a clone. Apparently, you need to be genetically similar to something in order to have sympathy for it in this world. She hits a button that releases all of the dinosaurs from their cages. So now we have it, a Jurassic World where dinosaurs roam around in the open because Maisie decided to press that button. Funnily enough, the T-Rex squishes the I-Rex fragments that had been retrieved from the island, once again ensuring that no one manages to create that specific monster. Even the dinosaurs are making better decisions than the humans at this point. Mi casa es tu casa. Jurassic World Dominion 2022. It's been 4 years since the events of the Lockwood Manor, and the dinosaurs are living alongside humans worldwide. Claire has now changed her objective to prevent dinosaurs from being illegally bred for a reason that's bothered her from the beginning: military weapons. Owen has been living off the grid to protect Maisie. Still, it turns out that Maisie wasn't enjoying it, so she managed to sneak away. Since she had been an important target because of being a clone, Biosyn Genetics captured her and Blue's offspring, Beta. Owen and Claire reunite to save her. Biosyn seems to be causing some trouble because this corporation is pretty evil, even by Jurassic Park standards. They have two plans: control the dinosaur DNA and create locusts that can destroy crops that aren't using Biosyn products, so that the entire planet could be made to starve until they subscribe to the agro-pharma plan that Biosyn provides. While Owen and Claire are busy saving Maisie, the OG Jurassic team gathers as Dr. Alan Grant teams up with Ellie Sattler to investigate the workings of Biosyn. They further meet up with Ian Malcolm, who works for Biosyn, and lets them in to explore the entire ordeal with the locusts. Oh, and also, Dr. Wu is working with Biosyn, and yes, it makes sense just to track Wu's movement so that we can clearly get an idea of who's doing what, or maybe he will clearly explain everything. Owen and Claire end up in a black market that has thrived with the recent Jurassic offerings, and while they're there, they discover that Maisie and Beta are being taken to Biosyn's headquarters. Maisie and Beta hold the answer to a pathogen that could stop the locust outbreak, and at the same time, Beta, who is also reproduced in the same manner as Blue, holds the answer. As all of them reach Biosyn's headquarters, Dodgson realizes the threat the revelation of this information poses and sets fire to the locusts in the lab, burning down the entire facility. Meanwhile, Claire and Owen manage to reunite with Maisie, while Dodgson himself is killed by a dinosaur while escaping with dinosaur embryos. Things change as the world adapts to live with the dinosaurs, and everyone returns home safe. The T-Rex makes its way to Isla Sorna, which was declared a dinosaur sanctuary by the United Nations. Wu actually manages to get a redemption arc as he uses DNA to stop the locusts from destroying the world's crops. 5 years later, Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, 5 years after these events, it seems that Earth can no longer keep the dinosaurs and other such creatures that have been de-extincted. These creatures now appear in remote places or environments where they had once flourished. But turns out that there was a whole new island that InGen used as a dinosaur research facility. So the team will be infiltrating Île Saint-Hubert, which is obviously a forbidden island, and their job is to locate 3 of the largest prehistoric animals from the land, sea, and air, because their biomaterials hold the key to a revolutionary drug that could save human lives. Now, this time around, things might get much worse than the last few times, as there are quite a few failed mutated experiments that have thrived on this island under isolation. And the one that they must fear the most is none other than the Distortus Rex, which is basically a deformed mutated T-Rex with 6 limbs. So yeah, they're clearly heading for another deadly mission. Director Gareth Edwards isn't holding back on the horror aspect of the franchise that has died down a bit in the recent few editions, and he's planning to bring that charm back to the franchise. According to him, Jurassic Park is a horror film in the Witness Protection Program. Most people don't think of it like that. We all went to see it as kids, but I was scared shitless, to be honest, when I was at the cinema watching the T-Rex attack. It's one of the most well-directed scenes in cinema history, so the bar is really high to come on board and try to do this. There's no clear indication about the franchise's future, even though there's a chance that we might get to see the survivors of this film appear in a whole new trilogy. The only thing that the fans demand is that the new trilogy should have a stronger underlying theme, unlike the last time around, where it became entirely about cloning and the weaponization of dinosaurs. As for what will happen in the future and who will survive, Edwards has stated the possibility of other returns or a new cast by saying, "We're keeping both of those ideas in play, let's say it that way. But you know, it's such a wonderful cast, I hope we can figure out what to do with them next." Marvelous verdict! We hope Dr. Wu isn't the one who suggested the medical discovery that leads them back to Dinosaur Island, because that man had just earned his redemption arc through the last film. Perhaps it's related to recent studies that indicated that there have been cancer cells in dinosaurs, and studying those could lead to the discovery of a cure for the disease. There's no cure for cancer, but the fact that dinosaur DNA might hold the answer could be a valid reason to go to the forbidden part of the world once again, seeking the cure. But still, a six-limbed T-Rex is an abomination, and I'm still surprised that they're able to find people willing to go on these missions. Hopefully, they'll also be able to find some people willing to pay for tickets to go and watch. That's all we got for you this time, but if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.